So how's training been throughout the entire pandemic and quarantine?
So I was supposed to fight March 28th. The fight got canceled on March 16th because of like everything else in the world, it got canceled. So my parents have a vacation house in Kissimmee, Florida. So when my fight got canceled, I said, "Fuck being stuck in the snow or the cold rather," and they gave me the keys to the place in Florida. So I went down to Kissimmee. I was in Kissimmee for up until about 2 weeks ago, so about 2 months, give or take, 6 weeks, give or take. I got back. I took a few weeks off because you figure I was in training camp for 7 weeks. I've been 7 weeks away, and I went from a full training camp to a quarantine. So as you can imagine, I was eating fucking everything. I was fucking huge. I was drinking everything. I was a fucking booze bag for 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, just kind of enjoying myself and I guess making up for lost time. Couldn't do anything else. Couldn't train, nothing. Then I started getting back into the swing of things. Stopped feeling bad for myself. Started training again. I was training out in Tampa, Florida, with Billy Quarantillo, who's also in the UFC, coming off a huge win. And we were training. I did a freak accident. I busted up my hand, broke my finger. A little bit of ligament damage to my finger, so I was out another 2 weeks. So I'm getting back into training. I'm about 3 weeks back into training. I'm still up in Florida. I've been training at ATT with all those savages over there. So I'm getting back into the swing of things and hoping for a return sometime mid to late July. That'd be nice.
So describe, I guess, like the whirlwind of emotions. Obviously, you came off a huge win over Boston Salmon. You're looking forward to this next fight. You're 2 weeks out, less than 2 weeks out, and it gets canceled. Kind of describe what all that felt like.
Yeah, man. So the coronavirus. It was such a developing thing. It started like hearing like rumblings of it, like what, December, maybe January. And then it started slowly picking up. Now we're mid-February, right? So I'm about 4 weeks into a training camp. I'm not killing myself yet. I'm training hard, but the real dieting and the real weight dropping has not even came yet. During that time, I'm very much in tune with the news. I enjoy reading the news. I enjoy current events, reading what's going on. And I see the coronavirus developing and growing immensely, and it's just this brand new fucking thing that no one has any idea about. So I'm talking to my coaches. I'm like, guys, this is kind of it's kind of a big fucking deal. They're like, don't worry about it. Focus on the fight. Focus on the fight. I'm like, I am focusing on the fight, but I think it's very easy to be ignorant to something that we don't know anything about. Thankfully that I kind of did a lot of research, a lot of in-depth. I was just fucking reading all day, fucking every day about the coronavirus and the severity of it. So I kind of knew it was coming. As soon as you saw the one state of emergency and insert X state, I fucking knew there was no chance there was going to be a fight. I fucking knew it. I knew it. So the fight officially got canceled on March 16th. But on like March 11th, Ohio had just my fight was supposed to be in Columbus, Ohio. Ohio had declared that a state of emergency. The governor in Ohio has this reputation of jumping on things right away. So I fucking knew it that he was going to call it right away. Maybe not the UFC, maybe other events, all these other things. They started canceling like concerts in Ohio, maybe not Columbus, but concerts. Ohio State started tweeting stuff about cancellations and this stuff. So I fucking knew it was going to happen. So I kind of prepared for myself that it was going to happen. So it wasn't like news to me that it wasn't a surprise to me that the fight got canceled. I knew the fight was going to get canceled. It was just kind of inevitably when was the fight going to get canceled. I wish it wasn't 10 days out because that really fucking sucked. That I had trained for 7 weeks and I dieted so hard for 7 weeks and got my ass kicked every day for 7 weeks. All that could have been avoided. I guess it was a good thing. I got a lot of skills. I learned a lot about myself. I trained really hard. I got in excellent shape. I was fucking shredded, which was always, it's always cool, seeing all these transformations. But it definitely sucked. But it wasn't like it wasn't a start. You'd be stupid to think it was a surprise that the fight's going to get canceled. This is a fucking real virus. People are dying out there. They're not gonna let you go out there and compete in front of a crowd if it's like a liability, you know. So it wasn't. It sucked, but it wasn't. You know, you take the good with the bad. It could have been a blessing in disguise. I could have went out there and got my fucking head kicked in 2 minutes. Who knows? You know, so it could be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. So now here you are. I mean, everything's back up and running. Obviously, still no crowds. All in the UFC Apex, potentially Fight Island. We really have no idea what's going on. You said you wanted to get back in there in July. Is Martin Day still the opponent that you're looking at, or is it just whoever?
I'm not looking at any opponent. If I'm a fan of the sport and I don't know Randy Costa and I don't know Martin Day, I would like those two guys to fight only because if my only knowledge of those guys or their fighting style, that fight had fireworks written all over it. I go out there, I throw bombs, I'm looking to fight. Martin has these fucking fantastic kicks. He's super, super excited and he's extremely talented. It wasn't going to be a boring fight. There was no way that was going to be a boring fight. And I'm sure Martin's answer would be the exact same thing. I don't have any ill will. I don't know that guy. I wished him well as soon as our fight got canceled. I wished him and his family safe, as did he. I don't want to fight him per se. It would be cool to, test my skills against someone like that or someone like that, and put on a fucking awesome show for the fans. But the fans aren't there, so if that fight happens, great. If not, fucking awesome. I'm gonna shake his hand when I see him. If we're gonna get paid to fight each other, we're gonna get paid to fight each other. I think there are a lot of exciting matchups out there, and I think the UFC probably knows that. They have. I'm not gonna go out there and I'm not gonna say that I have star potential. I have UFC belt contention, this, that, the other thing. I'm not gonna be a future star. But one thing that's guaranteed with me is that you're gonna have an exciting fight. So I think the UFC probably recognizes that, and probably knows that they're gonna put someone in front of me where it's going to be someone that's going to actually want to fight, not someone that's going to want to go to the ground and hug against, for 15 minutes and, just grapple. They're going to probably put someone on, out there against me that, wants to fight because make no fucking mistake. I want to go out there and I just want to throw bombs. I don't want to go out there and cuddle with this dude all this crazy stuff. I can, but I know what people want to see. And people want to see fucking limbs being thrown around.
Yeah, you're 5-1 as a pro, 5 first-round finishes. So I think that shows a lot about your fighting style. Which is kind of, the first thing I notice is you're training at Lauzon MMA, yet all of your finishes are in the first round with TKO, right? They're not submissions. You're working with one of the best submission specialists in the world. What's it been like to work with him, and what has he done for your overall game?
Man, I've been with him for 9 or 10 years, something like that. So I definitely grew as a martial artist since I've been with him. When I started training with him, I had been, I've been a wrestler. I wrestled in high school and I've been a kickboxer. I did it all before going to his gym. When I went to his gym, I kind of put everything together, and every single lick of jiu-jitsu that I have and that I know and that I practice everything is around him. So I definitely attribute every single bit of my success in MMA directly to him. No doubt about it, 1,000%. From the way that I conduct myself, from the way that, sportsmanship and respect to the way that I compete. It's directly, correlated, and it's because of him. If you look at our fighting styles, they're different, but they're not that far apart. He's constantly looking at, finishes on the ground, and I'm constantly looking for finishes on the feet. So you could say like I'm the Joe Lauzon of stand-up. I guess that you could, I have like his fighting style, except I prefer to keep it on the feet. I'm constantly attacking, constantly going forward, constantly throwing big shots, constantly looking for the knockout. He's constantly going for the takedown, constantly, trying to pass guard and constantly doing damage on the ground. Our fighting styles are different, but very, very much similar in the grand scheme of things. Everything I owe everything to. I'm forever indebted for everything that he's done for me.
What was it like training at AT&T? Obviously, you said it was great, amazing experience. Who are some of the people you worked with while you were there? You mentioned Billy Quarantillo. And what sorts of things? And is it nice to kind of get a variety of different training camps? Yeah,
well, first thing, I didn't train with Billy Quarantillo at ATT. Billy Quarantillo trains in Tampa, at Gracie Tampa South under Matt Arroyo. Okay. Both fantastic, excellent gym. Matt Arroyo is a fantastic coach. Great people over there. Billy Quarantillo is an awesome dude. But training ATT, I'm still training at ATT. I'm still out here in Florida. I'm training with obviously a lot of high-level guys, constantly in the room with, Marlon and Pedro Munoz, and I'm training with Ricky Bandejas and Charles Rosa and all these big-name guys. It's just so nice being around all these, everyone has the same goal. There's no ego there. Everyone's super cool, super cool. From the second I walked into the door, I mean, obviously I'm in the UFC, so my worry was that I was going to go out there and I was going to go there and there was going to be a target on my back. People are going to try to, I'm going to beat Randy Costa up. It wasn't like that at all. Everyone was super welcome and super cool. I definitely felt like I was welcome there. I felt like I was, like I wasn't intruding on anything. Everyone's been super fucking cool, and I'm super thankful for that. And like I said, I am still training out here. I'm especially since gyms in Massachusetts can't open until June 30th at the very earliest. So I'll be here at least until June 30th.
What was it like? So you mentioned Charles Rosa, you mentioned Joe Lauzon. What was it like for you, the three of you, to compete on that card back home in Boston? And what was it like getting a victory in front of your home crowd?
Yeah, so that night, that week, that was the first time I ever met Charles Rosa. I've known who Charles Rosa was. We were from Massachusetts. Obviously, he's a household name in Massachusetts. But I was sharing the card with Kyle Bochniak, who I trained with, Joe Lauzon, who I trained with. Calvin Kattar was supposed to be fighting that night, so he was in camp for 2 weeks after. Manny Bermudez, who's a very good friend of mine, who fought Charles Rosa that night. So all these guys, it was really fucking weird. A lot of guys get into the UFC and they never get the chance to fight in the big show in their hometown. I got the chance to fight it in my hometown on my second fight in the UFC. Yep. Second, and we're now with 4 or 5 other Boston guys. It was a local show on steroids for me. It was a fucking fantastic experience to go out there and get a win, like in that fashion, after coming up a loss in my hometown arena, getting a first round knockout. And then Joe Lauzon coming up, my fucking coach, my mentor, the guy I looked up with, the guy who I never even thought I would fight, in the same fucking, breathe the same air as him, never mind fighting, in the same big show as him, on the same night, in what could very well be his last fight ever. It was a fucking pit. You couldn't have wrote it better. I went out there, barely got touched, got a first round knockout. Joe went out there, barely got touched, first round TKO. It was a fucking fantastic night for Lauzon MMA.
Yeah, it was incredible. I remember, I was a Joe Lauzon fan my entire life, still am to this day. And so when I saw him win, I was like, I hope this is it for him. I hope this is it. I hope and he didn't make the speech. As someone who trains with him, what is it you want to see from him as a fighter, not as a coach?
As a fighter, so I obviously see firsthand the way that Joe trains and all that stuff. And Joe hasn't missed a step. Joe is still training every single day with fucking savages. And he's not only hanging with these guys, he's beating these guys. Joe's, training with the best guys. What I would like to see out of him, because I have this relationship with him that's deeper than just fighting. Obviously, we're very close, we're very friendly. Is that I would like to see him. Whatever he's gonna do, I just want him to be happy. If he's done, then he's done. If he wants to go, then he wants to go. Who the fuck are we to judge? He's done all these great things in MMA and the UFC. If the guy wants to take another fight, let the guy take another fight. Why would he be wrong for taking another fight after fucking demolishing someone that he was supposed to lose to in his hometown arena? Would that be a good thing to walk away with? Yeah. Would that be a wrong thing to go forward and fight again? Fuck no. Let the guy do it. I want Joe to do what Joe wants to do. If he's gonna be happy taking another fight, fuck yeah, let's go do it. If not, dude, he had a fucking awesome career.
Yeah, I think future Hall of Famer for sure. He's done it all. One of the winningest fighters in lightweight history. One of the people who have the most performance of the night bonuses. Incredible fighter all around. And
you look
I've always been a fan.
Yeah, when you think Joe Lauzon, or when you're talking about Joe, it's a People Hall of Fame. He doesn't have. There's not one negative press thing about him.
Right.
Yeah. Whether you're standing across from him in a cage, whether at weigh-ins, he's not shoving people at weigh-ins. He's not talking shit about his opponents. There's a lot to be learned from a guy like Joe Lauzon. He's an incredible role model for the sport, for sure. He's gonna shake your hand before the fight. He's not gonna fucking smile at you. He's gonna wish you and your family well, and then he's gonna go out there and try to take your head off. Like, that's all there is to it. So it's so fucking cool. And I try to envy that, or I try to replicate that myself and mirror that myself. It's just he can teach a lot of great lessons to a lot of young fighters, including myself. And I think he's the fucking man.
Yeah. Your journey is very different than most. Most people, especially in a division like Bantamweight, have 12, 13, 14 fights. You had 4 when you made your debut. What was it like getting the call? And did you think it was like too early, or were you just like, man, I'm all in?
It's So I could definitely see why someone would say that it's too early. If I had gone out there and I got my ass kicked right away, it would have been too early. I think that I showed that I fucking belonged. I went out there, I had him hurt with the first punches I threw. I could argue that I was winning the first round. I got caught in the second round. It is what it is. I got there at just 4-0. I was a unicorn. No one really knows my full potential. But I think I showed in that fight, and I absolutely showed in the last fight that I do belong. My record, I may not have 10, 12 wins, but my talent shows. I go out there, I fucking knock people out. That's all there is to it. No, I'm not. These aren't accident punches. These aren't accident kicks. All this stuff isn't an accident. The way that I fight, I know what the fuck I'm doing. I can hang with the best guys. Again, if I had gone out there and I was knocked out right away, or I had got submitted right away, taken down right away, I would have a different answer. That wasn't the case. I put on a fucking good show. I was winning some of the fight. I was putting it on. I was putting it on him. I was hurting him with every single shot. You have to remember, this is a guy that went 3 rounds with Zabit Magomedov. I didn't go 3 rounds with Zabit Magomedov. I was just a 4-0 guy fighting a guy that was coming off of a fight 3 rounds with Zabit. I showed that I definitely belong. When I got that notice that I was getting into the UFC, it wasn't like, oh fuck, I'm in the UFC. This is all an accident. It was like, all right, it was only a matter of time. The local fights were just the preseason. Now I'm in the real season. Now it's time to fight. Now it's time to compete. All this stuff wasn't an accident, man. I'm here to stay, and I showed that with my last fight and my debut.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought your debut was extremely impressive considering the level of fighter which you were fighting. Like you said, he just came off of three rounds was a beat, and then you steamrolled Boston Salmon in really, really impressive fashion. So, yeah, like you said, 4 fights in. I think some fighters wish, say, 12, 13, 14 fights. Some, I guess, can be rushed into it. There's a big card this weekend with a lot of bantamweight talent on it. What are your thoughts on this weekend's card? And are these fights you're watching and interested in?
Man, the whole card is stacked from fucking top. This card is probably better than that first card they brought back from the pandemic. I would definitely 100% argue that. Obviously, they have the big bantamweight fights, which are 3 big bantamweight fights. Hold on, I'm just looking at the card, and that's the 6th.
Sun Tzu versus Cody.
Yeah.
We've got Aljamain Sterling versus Cody Sandhagen. And I think there's one more big bantamweight fight on that card. And in the main event, obviously, Amanda Nunes.
Bantamweight cards. 2 more big bantamweight fights. O'Malley and Eddie Wineland. And then, of course, Brian Kelleher and Cody Stamann. Cody Stamann and Brian Kelleher isn't a title contention shot, but those are 2 top 10 fighters, 2 top 15 fighters. 4 huge bantamweight. That whole card is stacked from top to bottom.
Yeah.
I'm really excited, obviously, for those bantamweight fights, but even the fights that aren't bantamweight fights, that card is just banging.
What's your prediction for the Sterling fight as well as the Garbrandt fight?
Okay, so I'll start with the Garbrandt fight first. So Garbrandt is a killer, 100%. You cannot deny that. I think his kryptonite has been is that he fights a lot with emotion. When he fights with emotion, he gets caught in these bad situations. When he fought TJ, he was able to get away with that stuff. But you saw it, very, very, very clearly when he fought Pedro Munoz. Pedro Munoz knew exactly what he was doing. He was going to stir the pot with him, get in there and try to brawl with him. Brawl with him, got caught with a big shot. Cody's power, fantastic. Can you question his chin? Absolutely, you can question his chin. I think this fight, you're going to see a very composed Cody Garbrandt. I think he probably knows that he can fight emotionally. And a Sun Tzu is not the shit talker. A Sun Tzu is not the guy that's going to push you at wins. A Sun Tzu is not the guy that's going to talk shit. Cody is extremely, extremely crafty. When Cody's on his game, he wins fights very impressively. I think Cody's gonna pull away with it, man. I'll have more of a definitive answer when I see the weigh-ins. But right now, when there's no bad blood, no talking shit, no nothing, I think Cody's a better fighter, man. I don't think a Sun Tzu is gonna be able to close that distance and wrestle him like the way that that I think a Sun Tzu would win. Cody's wrestling is outstanding. Cody's movement is insane, and he packs a huge, huge punch. Does a Sun Tzu have punching power like that? I don't know. I'm not sure I can say that. I think Cody's going to do a lot of dancing in this fight, and I think Cody's going to win this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I have it as Sun Tzu because of the way Cody's temper is, right? It's hit or miss. If he's composed, I feel like he wins. If he's not, I think a Sun Tzu pulls away. But like you said, I mean, a Sun Tzu isn't one for trash talking. So it's hard to predict because I think it really falls on Cody's shoulders, which Cody decides to show up.
1,000%. I agree 1,000%.
And what about Sterling Sandhagen? I think the winner of this, I think, deserves a title shot next.
Yeah, 1,000%, no doubt about it. I think you could even both of these guys could 100% get title shots at this point right now, and I think
This,
I think
yeah,
they really
this
deserve
could be
it.
the title shot. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that I think that works against Cody or Corey is that he doesn't really have that star power yet. I think and it really sucks, man, because I like what Corey's about. I love everything. He's super fucking nice. He's super humble. He's not talking shit, but like that doesn't really sell it. It's hard to get that. It's not very often that you see those kind of guys sell. The new McGregor is doing that, but the old McGregor, the McGregor that got him to where he is, that's not what Corey Sandhagen's doing. Corey Sandhagen is, man, that dude has fucking talent. He's so crafty in there. He has such a high fight IQ. He's reading things like in half speed. Like we see all this wiry stuff, all this fighting stuff, and he's seeing everything in slow motion. It's fantastic. I think Corey Sandhagen's going to get the win. I don't think Corey Sandhagen's going to knock Sterling out. I don't think he's going to choke him out. I think he's going to get the win like he beat John Lineker. I think he's going to move around and just play around with him. Sterling has unbelievable wrestling, but can Sterling hang with someone with that kind of movement, that kind of crazy, crazy movement? I think so. I think Sandhagen's going to get it done, man. I can't root against that guy. He hasn't shown me a reason why I couldn't pick him. Sterling, Sterling's a super fucking cool dude too. I think he's just in a tough fight right now.
Yeah, I have Sandhagen winning it, but it's so back and forth, and the only thing that really like did it for me was that knockout loss. You know, I know a lot of people say it's a fluke, but it does show that there is kink in his armor. That's the reason why I went against him. There really hasn't been anybody who's really tested Sandhagen and really like he was never really in danger in any fight.
No.
And what about that? What about that main event? Amanda Nunes and Felicia Spencer.
Man, come on, Amanda Nunes. She wins this. What Felicia's good at jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah, she's got great wrestling. She's great. She's durable. She's got a chin. She showed it against Chris Cyborg.
Yeah, and Amanda Nunes is a fucking animal. Like what are those odds? That's got to be crazy lopsided odds, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the odds are, but I know it's got to be very much in Amanda Nunes' favor.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm very much a person that's going to bet the underdog, and especially a heavy underdog. But with this kind of fight, you're not dealing. So if you're dealing with like 185 pounders or 170 pounders men who have like crazy knockout power, you can sway towards the underdog a little bit harder. When you're dealing with when you're dealing with women, I guess in general, who typically don't pack as deep of a punch, it's tough, man. You're not going to see like this, fluke submission. You might see a fluke knockout. I mean, it's 4-ounce gloves. You can knock anyone out. Felicia Spencer hasn't shown crazy knockout power. Amanda Nunes has, and she's shown incredible jiu-jitsu. Felicia's shown incredible jiu-jitsu, and that's pretty much it, right? She's not like this crazy talented or crazy technical or finesse fighter. She's extremely talented. I didn't mean to let that word slip. But she's not like this crazy finesse and pick apart kind of fighter. She's going to close the distance and try to, body lock you and take you down. I think you have to go with the favorite in this fight. You can't bet against Amanda Nunes. If she's fighting Cyborg, maybe you can bet against her in that kind of fight, but not with Felicia Spencer, man. I think Felicia Spencer's in over her head with this fight. I definitely admire her. She's fucking fantastic. She's 8-1, only 3 or 4 fights in the UFC. She's fighting for the belt against the champ. It's incredible. She's gonna go out there and she's gonna try to put on a show. But man, I can't root against Nunes. I can't pick against Nunes. She's shown too much. I'd pick Nunes against a lot of dudes. I'd pick Nunes against me, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah, I think Nunes is extremely impressive. Her streak is insane, and the fact that she had that rough patch to start her career and really turned it around and became arguably the greatest of all time, male or female, I think says a lot about Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, man, I don't think anyone, and I don't think Felicia Spencer's going to win that fight. I mean, that's a tough Felicia Spencer's one of the best 145 pounders, 1,000%, no doubt about that. But Amanda Nunes is next level.
Yeah, absolutely. Last question, and we'll make it non-MMA related. What sorts of things are you doing now? Any TV shows you're watching? Any video games you're playing? What have you been doing to keep your mind occupied outside of, like you said, drinking and eating?
You know what's funny, man, is that I make it sound like I'm this big booze bag, right? But people, when I'm doing interviews and stuff, like this is a little different. But when I'm typically doing interviews, it's typically when I'm coming up on a fight and I'm in fight camp.
Yeah.
Let it be known that when I'm at home in the state of Massachusetts, I will not have a sip of alcohol. The only time I drink is right after a fight. And I had a 7-week fight camp. So to me, I had a fight. But yeah, I haven't drank since fucking a long time. I mean, like since the initial first 3 weeks, post fight got cancellation. But yeah, I mean, I don't play video games. I don't ever watch TV. The extent of my TV watching, man, is I like watching cool documentaries. I just watched that cool that Jeffrey Epstein documentary. That was pretty fucking cool on Netflix. But I'm not one of these guys that sits down and plays computer games or video games and stuff like that. I'm extremely active. I'm always working out, something, running, swimming, fucking anything that to get me on my feet. Yeah, man, that Epstein doc was pretty fucking cool. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. It was very, very informative, very fucking cool, and very, very sketchy. That dude is cooked.
Yeah, I have been wanting to watch it. I've read a lot about him, and I've listened to people like Joe Rogan talk about him and stuff like that, but never really dug into it and watched that.
My knowledge of Epstein was not that in depth prior to watching this documentary. Man, this documentary was an extreme eye opener. I always knew he was like this sketchy character, but man, this doc breaks everything down like extreme, like unreal. If you do watch it, don't watch the first episode and let that be the deciding factor. I fell asleep in the second episode. It was extremely fucking boring. But as they get on to like the third and fourth episode, it starts to get like really spicy. It's all up to date and it's in chronological order. So if you're talking about, Epstein didn't kill himself, all that stuff, it shows you why that you think that Epstein did not kill himself. It's really, really fucking cool and super, super informative.
Yeah, I gotta check that one out. I've been watching a lot of like Tiger King and all this other nonsense. So
did you see fucking the judge ordered Carol Baskins to have full ownership of Joe Exotic Zoo?
No, I didn't see that.
Dude, the other day, yeah, Carol Baskin has the rights to Joe Exotic Zoo. He's kicking out what was that other dude name? That other fucking snake.
Yeah, that's the other psycho. Yeah.
He's kicking Jeff Lowe. Yeah. Making him get out. And there was like 60 days or something, and then she has full ownership of Joe Exotic Zoo.
Oh my God, aren't they like investigating her soon? Like I thought they were investigating her.
Yes. So there was obviously, since Tiger King got put out. And everyone started doing this big outrage. Tampa, where Carol Baskin's thing is, their police department reopened the case to do the investigation on her killing the husband, which fucking it's so clear that she did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, that was a good one too, man. That was a real good. What was that one we watched yesterday, Sam? That doc we watched yesterday. The Centoya, the Centoya Brown one. Centoya Brown.
No.
She was a 16 or 13 or 14, a young girl who was pimped out, I guess. Got picked up by this dude, and then she turned down sex by this guy, and then she thought this guy was gonna kill him, so she reached over and shot him in the back of the head, and then ran, and then she got put in jail for a long time, and then she just got out, and that one's another fucking really fucked up, that really twisted. Awesome one. So I definitely recommend that one.
I'll have to check that one out as well.
That one's a cool one too.
All right, man. Well, thank you for the time. It was nice talking, and looking forward to seeing you back in there. Hopefully in July once everything's healed up, and hopefully on Fight Island. That'd be incredible. Wherever the heck that is.
I hope so, man. Put me on an island. You take away. I normally go and get trashed after these fights, so you take away the middleman. I'll just get drunk on the island.
All right, man. All the best. Looking forward to it.
All right, brother. Stay safe. Later.
Yeah, you too.